Well, my name is Urko Sanchez. I'm a Spanish architect living and working in Africa for the last 20 years. I'm very honored to be here and introduce you Swahili Gem, which is a small apartment building which of 14 units built within a budget of $650 per square meter. Hello? Oh, this one. Okay. So the location of the project is in Mombasa, some few degrees south of the equator. The average temperature in this tropical climate is between 22 and 35 degrees. Average humidity, 80% all year round. A lot of sun. And what it makes very important is the breeze, which comes from the east most of the year. Mombasa is an old city, more than 1,000 years old. It was set up by Arab settlers, trading, and it was also an important city during the exploration of Africa in the late 19th century. The people living in Mombasa are the Swahilis. They have an Arab origin, but they have a strong influence from India and Africa. This influence is shown in their architecture, that even though that is basically common to most of the Arab and Islamic features, it has its own special features, characters, due to the availability of materials and well, climate and local, well, their culture. So our site was in the coast, Mombasa Island, facing northeast, is the best orientation due to the early morning sun and also because of the winds. Our approach was very simple. It was basically making use of the natural slope of the terrain and creating some terraces, going down 4 or 5 terraces, and then building a block of 5 floors at the entrance level, which would accommodate the rest of apartments needed, total of 14. Because of the lack of regulation in Mombasa, basically anybody can build anything, anytime. So we, from the beginning, thought that the building needed some kind of a skin that would protect the inside from future anticipated developments on the sides and in the back, and leave the front, which is facing the northeast, and the views to the creek and the natural breeze. The sun also is something very important to consider in this climate. That skin would have to take or protect also from the sun on the west, while to the east we will work with extended terraces that will protect the inside, and will also invite to outdoor living, surrounded by nature. As long as you are protected from the sun and you have breeze, it's quite pleasant spending time outside. And also it's much cheaper to build a terrace than building an inside. However, on the inside, to allow that breeze, which makes the difference between a comfortable space and a terrible, hot place, we had to look for ways to allow this natural ventilation, cross ventilation, especially in those terraces, because on the block building was quite easy, just by dividing east to west and allowing the breeze to cross through the whole apartment. While in those terraces, because of the retaining walls at the back, we decided to introduce courtyards that would allow that breeze. And a courtyard being also a very natural and very essential element of the Islamic architecture, interpreted in a different way, but with a very clear function. These are the courtyards on the terrace apartments that actually allow that comfort and that lack of need of air condition or other ways. Technical section for the skin, which we said it was very important from the beginning, since we wanted to protect the inside and protect also, from views and from the sun, but allow the ventilation. What best than a traditional musharabia, which again is an element of the Islamic architecture. But placed, we took the musharabia and we basically, the main problem was the materiality, how to build that musharabia. Because in Mombasa, one of the main constraints is the lack of available materials. And because of the budget, we could not think on importing expensive materials, or not even because of the size of the project, and there is no really like a prefab industry in Mombasa. So basically we had to do it with concrete. It was the only rational material to be done. And if it was concrete in situ, why not introduce now the element of sustaining the building through the facade, and liberating the inside, and also it was an economical way of putting together everything. So this is the result, which fits very well the initial ideas. But okay, saying that is simple. Building it, it was much more complex. We really had to invent, create, together with engineers and a local team of contractors. We need to find a way to make it possible. This is a good sample of the merging of, on one side, very high technology in terms of software, digital software, that allowed to the engineer to study properly how the forces were distributed through that musharabia, and then the manpower and the use of the will of local workers and working with their hands, which is something that they still do a lot. So we had to improvise and work out this system, which basically it was to set a vertical framework where we would draw the exact geometry of that particular piece. Then on the workshop, we would create formworks for the voids of the musharabia, and then place them in the exact location. That would allow us to then run the steel, cast, remove, and then use in the next floor. We had to build mock-up, scale 1:1, to make sure that it was actually feasible, and the contractor would trust that we could actually do it. And here you can see a little bit of the process on the ground floor of that constructive process. Details on the knots. The software, the structural software will say, you run these bars from here to there. The reality is that to fit those bars in the section of 25 by 25, it really needed strong work and dedication from the local team to actually make it possible. The result, after removing the formwork and brief video to show you the conditions with how they were built. Very elementary, very chaotic, very basic, but it actually stands. And in our opinion, we believe this is a building that it really sits very well in its location and dialogues with the surrounding. It stands by its beauty. It offers to the contemporary man contemporary spaces to live, rooted in their tradition, with the use of elements and materials. Again, you can see very simple materials, everything locally sourced to keep it within that budget. Innovative solutions to the point of having to design how the windows would open. So in general, it's a combination of handcraftship with technology in a location like Kenya. And I would like to end playing courtesy to the people who made this possible with the will, the workers who actually made what our primary goal as architects in our offices, which is only to feel proud of our work. Thank you very much.
Just one question. Did this typology start a new trend in Mombasa? Is it too early to say?
It's very early. What it has definitely done is, it's become like an icon in Mombasa. Everybody knows it, all the taxi drivers. And I think it's important. See, most of the buildings which are developed in Mombasa nowadays, they basically are glass windows coming from China or Dubai. This is our intention is to show that the value of their own culture and put it in value and adapt it to the new reality and providing a sample for others to improve.
Does this facade structure maybe it repeats somewhere in plans or I don't know in interior details? So my question is whether it's just a decorative skin and there is no any morphology inside the building.
Okay, it's not just a decorative skin because it's actually structural. We did, though, consider taking it through other elements, but we also didn't want also we understand that's one of the elements of the traditional Islamic architecture. We didn't really want to take it all over the place. So the rest of the spaces, as you can see, are pretty much clean lines, straight, and this is skin with a function, and provides also a very strong identity. But it just remains there.
So is this skin, because it seems very expensive, no, and very difficult to do this skin, all the effort for this skin, for the cost of the place, of the apartments, so is it really like worth it, all the effort for this skin? It's not only the more formal than, you say it's structural, but it seems like more formal also.
It's formal and structural. The original budget was $650 per square meter. When we started the concept, the original concept didn't have this skin. The final cost of the building, there was a deviation of 2%, so it was pretty much within the original budget. So client is happy. Actually, Mombasa through this time has gone through very difficult times because of security issues and lack of tourism. A lot of buildings were started when we started ours. Ours was one of the few that had been finished, completed. It's been a great success, commercial success for the client. I mean, he sold all the apartments he wanted to sell. So, big success. Thank you.